My name is Hirokazu Yoshikawa, and I am a professor at NYU in applied psychology. But I also co-direct a center called Global Ties for Children, and we focus on evaluating programs and policies for children and youth in low-income and conflict-affected countries. I think sometimes we need to be more careful about talking about the initial great positive effects of a program that was evaluated at a fairly small scale, and be aware that we can't really be promising those when they are implemented, for example, at national scale. I do a lot of work in a variety of countries, and there's a lot of reasons why those effects don't get replicated at that magnitude when they're implemented at scale. So I think we just need to be a little more careful about it, because I think that those kinds of statements can be misinterpreted, and what the ultimate result is a level of outcomes that's not within the expectations that governments might have, policymakers might have. So far, we've been only talking about what I call small to bigger scale, which is when we're talking about a small scale implementation and whether that translates to large scale. But there's also a kind of scale that we might call big to better, which is when systems already exist at the national level, but they could be improved to ensure that we get the outcomes we want in early childhood or for families or communities. And that requires a separate research agenda that's linked, but focuses certainly on the level of where current systems functioning is. What is the capacity of a national system to support the states or provinces or districts that are within it, and then the capacity of those states and districts or provinces to then support local level implementation. And that's a research agenda where I think we have a lot to learn about how governance works, how finance works, how the workforce, not just at the frontline provider level, but at the administrative levels, from municipal to the kind of state, province, or what we might call the subnational level, all the way up to the national level. What are those workforces like? What do we expect from those workforces, and what are the characteristics of competencies that would be ensuring that there is actually the level of quality and fidelity and outcomes for kids and families that we want to see at the household level? I come from a global context, and so I think that the ultimate benefit is to realize what the Sustainable Development Goals put together. So in 2015, all UN member nations signed on to 17 Sustainable Development Goals, of which within SDG 4 lies the Early Childhood Development Target, which is pretty ambitious. It is that all children should be achieving their developmental potential during early childhood across physical development, across cognitive and learning, as well as socio-emotional, which is referred to as psychosocial in the language of the UN indicator. So, and that is for all children in a nation, in a society, and that's the ultimate benefit. It's an agreed upon goal, so this is what we want to achieve by 2030. That's a tall order. Really concrete guidance for researchers who are out there doing evaluations. They are usually doing it at the smaller scale. There are relatively few evaluations that are going on at a national level. There are some in the ECD world. So concrete guidelines for those researchers. What should change in how they design those experiments or studies, and what does that mean for then the next steps? Should those initial results be promising? The other set of guidelines which would be useful would be to think about the audience of research and evaluation staff within, for example, ministries of education within early childhood. We're also talking about health or social protection or child protection. What is the guidance that we would give to those who are in charge of the national and state or district or local level data systems that are currently being used to try to monitor the quality of systems? How should those researchers take these kinds of lessons into account in what they do?